I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where today we recount our Universal Studios adventures and share what we're looking forward to in a new epic universe of theme park attractions.
Yeah, so exciting.
This is such an exciting time to be a theme park fan in Florida.
Yes.
We feel very lucky, I feel like, to be kind of right in the middle of a brand new theme park opening here.
Right.
It's kind of a rare thing. Hasn't happened in quite a while.
Yes, and I feel like even if you're, most of our audience are Disney people, even if you're not a Universal person, this is going to affect Disney in a great way.
Totally.
It already is, because competition benefits the consumer.
Totally.
So because Universal is doing this, it is inspiring Disney to open a bunch of new stuff.
Yes.
To compete. Yeah.
Yeah, and that really is a good thing. And it's also just so cool to see like what the ride manufacturers and the creative teams at Universal collaborate to come up with.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see what the next generation of theme park attractions will look like.
Yeah.
That's a very exciting thing technologically, storytelling wise. There's just so much to look forward to. So we wanted to kind of get into it and compare what we're excited to in the future to what we've most enjoyed from the current lineup of Universal experiences.
Right, as original Disney people.
Yes, from the perspective of people who are through and through Disney folks. Before we dive into all of that, though, we wanted to say thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to help the podcast keep podcasting, the way that you can do that is by leaving us a review. If you're on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it helps us out a lot. And of course, if you would like to see the visual version of the show, we post that every week on our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co.
Yes, and if you are thinking about taking a trip anywhere, please send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com, because I am a free to you travel agent. I get paid by the place that you're going, even though I get you the same deals you could get yourself or better. So to give back to you for being my customer, you get free trip t-shirts from our 5-star Etsy shop if you book with me. So it's super easy. Just send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com and I'll exchange contact information with you and we'll go from there.
We should, when we go to Epic Universe for the first time, we should wear shirts inspired by whichever of the lands we're most excited for, the portals.
Oh.
That would be very fun. Are any of you guys out there planning on going to Epic Universe anytime soon? You're going to need some trip t-shirts.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. We've been excited. We had not been to Universal Studios together until this last year. And I think we really enjoyed our time going. We took advantage of a promotion that Universal puts out where you can go from the time you purchase these special tickets until the end of the year for a lower flat fee.
Right.
It's like a half an annual pass.
Right.
Basically.
Right. A quarter even.
Yeah. Like a super limited annual pass.
Yeah, we basically bought a quarter pass. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's I love that they have that option.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't really offer anything like that.
No, yeah.
So it was definitely a cool thing to take advantage of, and we got to experience a lot. So we kind of wanted to go over the things that stood out to us the most throughout all of our visits to Universal Studios.
Yeah. So we're going to do like a quick top 10 of the existing things that we love at Universal Studios. And then we're going to start talking about what we're looking forward to at Epic Universe. And that's with very little information. This is just going on a little bit of information and like gut instinct.
Yeah, Universal has put out a couple of like preview rendering type things, and there's been write-ups on the internet of stuff that we can expect. So from all of that information, we kind of have an idea of what we are going to be most excited to kind of hit first.
Yeah, there have also been cast members that, well, they're not called cast members over there, but whatever they're called, team members that have gotten to experience some of these rides already and have posted videos and stuff, but I haven't watched it because I don't want too many spoilers.
Yes.
So I'm going off of the descriptions that Universal's put out.
Nice. Yeah,
How
that's
about you? Are you into spoilers or?
I'm not really into spoilers. Universal put out a series of animated kind of flyover renderings of what the lands would look
Yeah,
like.
that's okay.
So I watched those.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
went into the area
Mhm.
in. They had like a preview center in
Yes.
City Walk. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, the preview center was a great indication of kind of the vibes
Right,
that you can
without
expect.
giving away everything.
Exactly. And I haven't, like you said, with the team member previews that there have been, I haven't consumed any content from any of that. I'm just so jealous of those people
Yeah,
that they get to be like first in
yeah.
to an amazing new theme park
What a
that is
story for the rest of their lives.
I
Yeah,
know, and something they get to tell their kids if they ever have kids and take them to the theme park. They get to
yeah,
say, "I was one of the first people here." Did you know that?
yeah.
That's so
Oh my
cool.
gosh, amazing. Like, but for example, when we're talking about the spoiler thing, let me just throw something out there.
Okay.
I did not watch a ride point of view video before going on Hagrid's.
Okay.
And so I I was surprised by some things
Mhm.
and I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why after that experience of trying Hagrid's for the first time without having watched a video, without knowing any spoilers, I'm like trying to make that my way forward.
Yes.
We don't get a lot of new stuff, you
It's
know?
true. It's
Yeah.
true. So going into that new stuff with like an open mind and no preconceived
Yeah.
stuff is really it enhances the experience in a big way. So we do
Yes.
try to avoid spoilers for
But
new
if you
rides.
need that because you're too nervous to know whether you would go or not, then that those videos are out there.
Yes.
I think for me, it's going to be hard when I start one day wanting to go to like the Disney International parks,
Yeah.
not to watch those to know whether I should waste time. When you've got such a limited amount of time,
Yeah.
it's so expensive to get there. I want to know like, oh, should I be doing this or is it just the same as the one we have in Disney World? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or I don't know. It's hard.
But then when we do that, we'll get to contribute something to the world, which is we should put out a guide of if you've been to Florida,
Yeah.
here's what you cannot,
Oh
here's what
yeah.
you can look to not do because it's a duplicate, you know?
Right, right.
Maybe that already exists on the internet and we just need to dig, but we don't want spoilers, you know? We
Right.
don't want, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fine line.
It is. It's hard. But anyway.
Yeah, so let's go to what we've got now, the current Universal lineup, which will not be current for very long because we are very,
Yeah.
very close to the opening of Epic.
Well, and let's talk about a maybe sad announcement.
Ah,
Yeah, Rip Ride Rocket is closing
oh,
permanently in 2025.
right. How do you feel about? Have you ridden Rip Ride Rocket?
It's like the only one I did not ride in our little quarter year thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not.
But I didn't because it made me nervous.
Yes, yeah, and
Not
that's
the
fair.
roller coaster part, the going up part.
That part is it's a little uncomfortable, I would say. I have done Rip Ride Rocket, not with Morgan. I did not get to experience Hagrid's because I could not go on the trip that we were going to do Hagrid's on. So I didn't get to do that. I did all the other major stuff, but I have gotten to do Rip Ride Rocket. I am sad that
Between
Rip
the
Ride
two of us,
Rocket,
we've done everything on Universal.
it's
Yeah.
true,
Okay,
yes.
go on. You're sad about it?
Yeah, I love a music themed attraction. I think that is so fun. Some of our favorites are Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. Great attractions where music kind of is the driving force behind the story of the attraction, or at least the on-ride experience. And that is kind of part of this. So I'm sad to see that go. There are quirks about it that I'm gonna miss, like the fact that there's like a secret menu of songs that you can pick from if you put in the code.
I've heard.
All that is so fun, and I am gonna miss that. That being said, the ride, from what I've read, is a lot rougher than it was when it opened. It's had maintenance issues.
I always wonder about if that's true or if we've just gotten more used to smoother rides.
Yeah.
Because I feel that way about the Hulk. Like, I don't know about your top 10 list, but my top 10 list did not include the Hulk, even though that used to be my number one favorite ride at Universal Islands of Adventure.
Really?
And it's because it has gotten so rickety.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
I do think, yeah.
I only rode it one time forever ago. and riding
You
it
rode it with me.
and riding it
Yeah.
again this last year. I couldn't really feel if it had gotten like rougher or smoother because I didn't know it enough. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like riding it for the first time. Because I didn't really have, and also they literally retracked the entire thing. They took every piece of track out in the 2000s and replaced the whole ride.
Really?
So it's kind of like a newer roller coaster.
Yeah. I feel like it should be smoother then. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. But do you know when in the 2000s?
No, I can look it up really quick.
So I used to have Universal annual passes in like 2006, 2005, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And so the Hulk was like my first experience with a launch. Nope, because I did Rockin'. Okay, my first outdoor experience with a launch, and I really loved it for that.
Mhm. It was cool. 2016.
Oh, okay, really?
Mhm.
I feel like it's very jarring for being retracked in 2016. That information shocks me so much.
There was one moment where I remember we were like, "Oh my gosh!" Where I don't know if it was like a tight turn or a sudden stop or something, but it was really
At the end, yeah.
It was kind of
The
uncomfortable.
jarring stop,
and
yeah.
we were like, "Oh boy." Yeah, 2016. That is pretty recent. The outdoor launch of it all, the launch of the Hulk, is so exhilarating. I see why you love that so much.
Yeah, I do love that.
Okay, so you don't have the Hulk on your list. What do you have on your list? Should we start from the bottom?
Yeah, I guess so. Is your list different than mine?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So my number 10, if we're doing a number of 1 through 10, is actually, and this is, I'm going to get hate for this.
What?
But it's the Jimmy Fallon ride.
That made your list?
Yes, but only because I love the queue so much.
I can't even believe it.
I know.
The queue is legendary.
Yeah.
One of the best queues at Universal.
The
Maybe
ride
the best queue at Universal
is really kind of dumb. But the queue I love so much that I put it on here.
I agree with that entire assessment. The ride is dumb, but the queue is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that queue. You know what it feels like? It feels like old school Hollywood Studios.
Great movie, right?
Yes,
yeah,
old school Universal.
I think that's why it warms my heart so much.
Yeah.
That queue does remind me of like the Great Movie Ride and the history of late night.
Yes.
Like that I love that aspect of it. The ride itself is dumb. But yeah, that's why it made my list.
Okay, with that reasoning, I can see it because the queue is really cool. I don't think you're going to have this on your list at all. I chose to include the Universal Mega Movie Parade on my list as my number 10.
That was a fun parade.
I just thought it was such a cool idea to have a different float for each of their kind of flagship film franchises that are represented in the park, including some old school ones like Jaws.
The old school ones are what make it for me because like the Christmas parade, there was just so much Despicable Me and Minions. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that neither of us have a single Despicable Me attraction on our
not that they're bad
list. Yeah.
If you or your kids are into the Minions, then
I think one of them is bad.
Oh yeah,
Villain Con Blast. I thought that was, I could never do that again and be completely happy with that. Because you stand on a conveyor belt type of situation.
Right. I
couldn't
remember
shoot at targets. It's not really a ride. It's like a walkthrough that's all screens.
Oh, that was so weird.
It was so weird, and it garners a wait time because it is Despicable Me themed, and it replaced Shrek 4D, which
I never did. Did you like that?
I did, through a lens of nostalgia and all of that. I really liked Shrek 4D.
Was Shrek a standing? Standing on a conveyor belt is wild.
No.
Like, you know what I mean?
It is wild.
Wall shooting stuff.
It's weird, especially to have in the same park as Men in Black, which is, like, in my opinion, the best version of a shooting ride.
Yeah.
So
this is like low budget.
That's how I felt. I was like, this was thrown together in this space. Shrek 4D was like a like a sit down 4D theater situation like Muppet Vision or It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Okay, so they gutted that.
Completely gutted it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that being replaced with that, I feel like when you replace something with something that's a little bit worse, it makes it hard to
It
enjoy.
is. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So that was my number 10, the Universal Movie Parade. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Transformers.
Oh, yes.
I love Transformers. I love the ride style of Transformers. I get that it's very early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's funny because once we start talking about epic universe, I have a little bit of a theory of what is going to be like the ride vehicle or the ride style of the 2020s.
Ooh.
But anyway, Transformers is in the same style as Spider-Man.
Right.
And I like it. I'm not like a huge fan of the Transformers movie franchise.
Right.
I didn't dislike the movie, but I didn't watch it over and over or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like vaguely aware of the characters and the concept, you know what I mean? But really it's the movement and the excitement and the kind of twisting and moving forward at the same time and like all of that. I like it.
The ride system is so impressive.
Yes, I was impressed by it.
And it's one of those things where you're like, how are we doing this right now? I love that feeling in theme park rides. I get it even more in Spider-Man, where there are some moments where like the buildings are moving around you and you're like, I don't get it.
Right.
I don't understand. And to me, someone who's ridden a lot of theme park rides, I long for the feeling of how is this being accomplished, you know? It's such a cool feeling. And Transformers, that ride system is seriously so impressive.
To me, this ride system is like a grown-up dark ride where you're being told the story of the movie basically, or kind of. And but in a grown-up, more interesting, more of a high budget way. And I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I definitely
regardless of movie.
Yes. All right.
What do you have for number 9?
My number 9 is the Bourne Stunt-tacular.
Okay, this is, I really probably should have put that instead of Jimmy Fallon because I did enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it was like the opposite. We had the worst queue experience for the Bourne Stunt-tacular ever. It's a giant screaming loud room of people, and we were
too many people in one room
for so long. We were in there for ages, and we were not I was not happy with that experience.
Yes, tip if you are like any kind of claustrophobic, when you go into that big room, that big queue pre-show room, go along the edges. Either the right, the left, the back. But we were like crushed in the middle, and they kept telling people to move up and crush closer together, and I was like dying a little inside.
It was terrible. I was seriously every minute just waiting for it to end. Getting kind of impatient, which is not generally how we roll in a theme park. So I think that kind of says something. But the actual experience of the attraction itself was so cool.
Yeah, you're right. And unfortunately that queue experience really put a damper on my memory, but you're
agreed.
So right. Go on, tell about the story.
It was just, it's like what you were saying with Transformers. I'm not a huge Jason Bourne fan. I'm not, oh my God, that's Jason Bourne. I don't care that much. But it was just the technology, the staging, the production. All of it was really impressive to me.
The combination of screens and practical sets,
and the combination of, they would do this thing where they had set pieces that were tracking in time with the screen background that made it hard to distinguish where the practical sets began and the screen ends. And I was like, it blew my mind a little bit.
So I'm glad to hear that did work on you, because I knew it definitely worked on me, but like you have like a graphic background in your brain that like sometimes will make you go, okay, that's obviously fake, and I'm like, is it? You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that or whatever. So that's good. I'm glad that they fooled you also.
And we were pretty close to
Yeah.
the stage as well. So it was, if there was anyone who was going to kind of see through it, it definitely would have been, I feel like, us. But we were really impressed with the set. Really, the set was the most impressive thing to me,
Mhm.
but also a lot of great like fight choreography, a lot of
Yeah.
the whole show was really engaging and really exciting. And I feel like that's kind of hard to do
Yeah.
for a modern audience for like a theme park show. So I thought it was really, really impressive and very accomplished.
Yeah. I was really impressed with it too. I'm glad that you put that on the list because it should have been on my list.
We left like, oh my God, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one on my list, I might be higher on your list because I know you're into nostalgia and practical effects. But the next one on my list is E.T.
We have the same
Number 8.
number 8.
Oh, okay.
E.T.
See, I thought I might make it a little higher. When it comes to cues,
I thought about it.
This one, yeah, me too. Blows. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Universal does cues really well.
They
usually.
do, huh?
Yeah.
I never thought about that until we went
Yeah.
and did everything. But
Yeah.
they do.
I started making a video about it
Mhm.
because the cues in Universal just outdo the Disney cues for the most part. It's
Yeah.
in a really kind of amazing way. Like,
And E.T. is old as dirt.
yes.
That ride is an opening day Universal attraction, and the queue is like hyper immersive.
And I so appreciate that they didn't make it a budget queue.
Yeah.
Like, crazy that they didn't do just a switchback line back when they built this.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the ride itself is a good ride, even though it's comical how bad like the animatronics are.
Some of them don't even move.
It's comical
We were
how
laughing.
bad
We were
the
laughing.
story is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from a nostalgic point of view and just from an impressive, like, there's just stuff everywhere. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? They didn't leave anything out.
Yeah.
They haven't really updated anything.
No.
But
No.
But for what it was to begin with, very impressive.
Totally. It's got an enchanting Peter Pan type quality to it.
Agreed.
The flyover
That's
feeling.
the best like connection you could possibly make.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing if you really think about it. But I love the ride vehicle being bicycles. I think that's so unique to the story.
Yeah.
You feel when you get that fly across the moon moment, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes right with E.T.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the whole beginning of the ride where you're like in this weird blue room and Steven Spielberg is there and you give them your ticket so the E.T. can call your name?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like that part is the most outdated, crazy, how is this still the same portion of the ride.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't really given it much thought. I think at that point, everybody's like talking about what they're going to say their name is and stuff like that. And I just really hadn't given any thought into.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's really, once you get into that foresty queue, that's really when the experience really begins. So yeah, that's totally understandable. All right, you ready for number 7?
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
That's also my number 7.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, we kind of do have a similar list. We were really impressed by this the first time that we wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
We were saying it's kind of like a combination of the Haunted Mansion and like maybe like Flight of Passage or something on like that you fly on like that.
Right. It had that spooky element.
Oh yeah.
And then that ride vehicle or ride system, very interesting.
Yeah, really, really interesting. And a true blend of screens and practical effects. Some of those scenes are very spooky. Mm-hmm. As someone who's prone to motion sickness, I did get a little motion sick on this ride, but that to me does not detract from the quality of the story that's going on. Also, I liked to ride that ride and to look at how young the cast was.
Yeah.
It made me nostalgic for when the Harry Potter movies were like new and coming out. But apart from that, just all the elements together, the practical sets, the score, the movement of the robotic arms, the concave screens that they kind of drop you into. I thought it all came together to make something unique and new, which is
very unique,
hard in the theme park attraction.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Right.
Very innovative.
I am surprised that in Disney we don't have anything like this.
I know. Disney feels like the type of, there's so many environments that you think they would want to take advantage of this type of thing. It is a little surprising. Maybe in the future they will come up with a more sophisticated version of this same ride system.
Maybe. Well, that's what I intend to. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm thinking that the new ride system of the 2020s, like when we're looking back, is like a roller coaster version of this. Ooh. Because we're getting one in Epic Universe. The Monsters door coaster is supposed to be like this as well.
Really?
Yes, as well as the one in Disneyland, Iron Man.
The new Avengers.
Where you're on kind of so in Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, you're on like an arm thing that kind of can swing you and swoop you and make and that is the same sort of arm system that's in all of these roller coasters coming out.
Really? I didn't know that.
Kind of.
Cool.
You did know that.
Did I don't.
The Monsters Inc. thing, you've seen that it's like an arm.
Well, yeah, that's right. The Monsters Inc. one, like lifts you up.
Yes, and I feel like, don't you feel like that's the same way that the Harry Potter one is?
Now that you mention it, it probably is kind of similar.
And look, I could be totally wrong, and it's not like that at all. But in my head, it's like that.
I see the connection.
And that is also how the Iron Man ride is going to be. And that also seems like that's how one of the new rides coming to Epic Universe is going to be.
The Donkey Kong one? The like mine cart
maybe
one?
I made a note, so I will definitely be able to tell you in a minute. No, the Monsters Unchained one.
Oh, okay.
The Monsters Unchained ride, the Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, utilizes a KUKA arm system for a less screen reliant experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But oh boy. All right. So yeah, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. There would be none of that, I don't think, without this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really enjoyed it. We walked off of it thinking this was so one of a kind.
Oh yeah. And again, the queue, absolutely mind blowing.
The queue. Such a good
So
queue.
glad that they don't like pinch pennies when it comes to their queues. Because honestly, you're in the queue more than you're on the ride.
Oh yeah, we were very lucky. We went in the pouring rain, and we were literally like the only people there.
Yeah, so actually, in our case, this wasn't true. But
we had to slow down to take in like details and stuff, but that's not the typical experience.
Right.
All right, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is actually the Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you find this attraction? How did you like it?
I thought it was very unique.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to explain, to be honest. I don't even think I could.
It's tough. It's like it's a roller coaster ride system, but it's got story beats.
It does, and it's not super roller coastery.
No, it has its moments.
Story coaster, and I think that was the absolute perfect description. Even though it's not, it doesn't really paint that great of a picture.
Yeah.
But after the fact, you're like, yep, that's exactly what it was.
It is hard to describe.
It is so hard to describe. I'm not even going to try.
It's less simulatory than like the Harry Potter Forbidden Journey ride, but less roller coastery than like the Mummy.
Yeah.
It's like in between the two, kind of. But it is something that I remember about it is that it's so smooth. Like the feeling of it feels like gliding, like floating. And it does that thing where it can like twist the ride car a little bit.
Yeah, so unique.
Yeah, that is really cool. It definitely feels like magic. And this one also has a really cool queue that includes like a big spiral staircase and stuff. Very different, very interesting.
You're like in the bank or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah,
before that,
there are actual moving animatronics in the queue,
which
is
so
something
cool.
we don't get enough at Disney. I love that. Yes, this one was just it's also something where if you haven't gone on it before and you choose not to watch a video of what to expect, it's
Hmm.
just surprise, 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 surprise. Like it's
Right.
very surprising, which is to me fantastic.
I love Elena Bonham Carter,
Mm.
and she's in this ride a bunch, and I think she gives a great performance in this ride. You know how sometimes actors will completely phone in their theme park attraction
What?
performances?
So I
No,
don't talk about Chris Pratt like that.
oh, I'm not talking about. I'm not, I'm 100% talking about Chris Pratt. She is like screaming and
Yeah,
waving her wand at you. She's going
she's
for an
extra.
Oscar.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I would ride that ride anytime just to watch her do all that. She's so good. Okay, my number 6 that I chose was Men in Black Alien Attack.
Okay, that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 5 is Harry Potter, so we just did a little
Oh,
flippy
yeah,
floppy on
cool,
that.
cool, cool.
Th- First of all, nostalgia. Such
Me
nostalgia
too.
for like the 90s, 2000s
Yeah.
for the Men in Black movies. And then also, this is like, in my opinion, this ride system, no ride uses it better than Men in Black Alien Attack.
Yeah.
The practical sets, the
This
like
is what Buzz Lightyear should be.
yes, Toy Story Mania,
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear, they don't even touch it.
They don't touch it.
The huge
It's such a good combination.
yes, and it's so interactive where if you shoot a target, it falls over or it
Yeah.
lights up or like whatever. And then you do the finale where you spin in the giant alien tunnel thing.
Yeah.
There's so much good about it, and it's got a legendary cue as well.
Yep. Yep. I love everything about this ride. I cannot believe it was made so long ago.
It feels so fresh.
Yeah, it was made. It actually was. We looked it up at the time, and I don't remember the specific years, but it was made within a year of Buzz, I think. And I was like, why?
Yeah, can't be.
Wait a minute, why?
Yeah,
Like that's not cool.
And talk about
We don't really complain about Disney because we are super obsessed and love Disney.
oh yeah,
but like
we love her.
But I really don't understand how this happened.
I know. It's like, who dropped the ball on that? And when you think about the difference between the cues of those experiences, it's crazy. Because the Buzz Lightyear cue is literally like painted pipes and computers on a wall, and the
one animatronic at the end,
and one animatronic who malfunctions all the time. And the Men in Black one, you start in a World's Fair queue, you go into this room, you go through a hidden elevator that takes you into Men in Black headquarters with all of these animatronics and the screen. There's just so much to it. It's so immersive. It's kind of crazy that it goes back so far
in and of itself. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, and the queue is like it. That's the best way to describe it. It's its own, it takes you right into the movie.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of queues in Universal. I'm always so impressed with their queues.
Yeah, they're doing great over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was your number 5 as well. What was your number 4?
My number 4 is The Mummy.
Me too. Wow. Okay, so we do.
Okay.
The Mummy. This has been such a good attraction for so long.
Yeah. It does hit me in a little bit of a nostalgic, more than it being a great roller coaster, but I do think it has a great story, and I love that there's a little bit of comedy involved. Yes. Like unexpected Brendan Fraser comedy.
Ooh, yes. Hidden Brendan Fraser comedy. I agree with all of that. Is it my favorite roller coaster? Probably not. No. But the story, the false stop in the middle of the ride
cracks me up.
It's so weird and unexpected.
Yeah.
I love that in the beginning of the ride, there's that walking Imhotep animatronic. He's so creepy.
Yeah.
Terrifying. There's that fire effect, the Beatles. There's just
and when it all comes down to it, this is all about a cup of coffee.
That's true. The fact that they do manage to weave comedy into that actually is kind of impressive to me. It's so scary.
To be paying attention, by the way, to get this. But
it's true. You have to
pay
attention
watch the during
pre-show.
the queue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pick it up.
Yeah. But that's cool because it rewards you for investing in the story, which
Yeah.
is a cool thing.
Yeah.
And the queue is also very immersive. It's like a dig site, like an archaeological Egyptian
Yes.
dig site type of situation. Well, you're on the set for the movie, but there's there's layers there. But I really enjoy this. This is the former home of Confrontation. Did you ever get to ride Confrontation?
I think so. Is that the one that would have been there when I was a kid?
Yes.
Then
It's
yes.
like
It was like you were in a subway and then yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
You're on like a suspended trolley thing.
I vaguely remember it.
Really?
Like it's like a dream.
Yeah.
Because I was probably so little.
Fair enough. Yeah. Kind of
Well, then again, totally gutted because that was a completely different. You know how a lot of times we'll see, especially in Disney, that something will be taking the space of another ride, and it's like just this very similar
right.
in the way that the ride operates. A lot of times the track is left.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like they do that as much.
No, they don't reutilize the ride system as much in Universal. They like to completely gut it. But I have heard for this ride that if it's a slower time, you can ask the team members at the Mummy if they'll give you a guided tour, and they don't have to say yes. But if they do say yes, then they'll walk you around and they'll show you in the ceiling where the old Confrontation suspended track used to be on the ceiling, which is pretty cool.
Do you have to go to a back area to find that, or could we find it ourselves? If I don't want to bug a team member.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't know where to look for it. But yeah, a team member would definitely be able to know if they...
I know, but I hate bothering them.
Time. Yeah, I think they enjoy it if it's a slow time. I think they enjoy giving the tours.
Okay.
It's kind of a unique Universal experience. They don't do that at Disney.
No, yeah.
All right. So those were what was that for you?
That was number 4.
Yeah, okay, me too. All right. So what was your number 3?
Spider-Man.
Me too. Okay, wow. Spider-Man.
I don't know how we could, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, Spider-Man is, I mean, we don't even need to talk about this that much because the ride system is the same as Transformers.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Legendary ride.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I love this. I think you could do this with so many different stories. I kind of wish that a lot of dark rides were upgraded to be this kind of where there's just so much more going on.
Yeah. And the sets are so dynamic.
And you feel like you're in the movie as opposed to, I don't know, with a dark ride.
You're kind of gliding past the movie in a dark ride.
Yeah.
In Spider-Man,
you're a character.
Yeah, you're in it. They're talking right to you. You've got stakes. You're falling down from buildings. Spider-Man has to rescue you.
Right.
It's very exciting. This was my favorite ride.
In most dark rides, you're just seeing what happens to the characters that are in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
Which is funny because going back to the original kind of Disney vision of a dark ride, they wanted that.
Right,
they wanted
you were supposed to be
Peter Pan
yeah,
or Snow
right.
White. But then the guests complained.
They weren't seeing,
because they weren't seeing
them. But I don't think we should have been the main character because you want to see the main character. Just like in Spider-Man, you're not Spider-Man.
Right.
You're helping him.
Yeah, so Universal figured that out for this.
You're not. Anyway,
you're kind of caught up in the.
You're caught up in the
madness, in the chaos. Spider-Man has so many. The best thing that Spider-Man does, in my opinion, story-wise, is not only putting you in the middle of the action by putting you on the scoop vehicles, but also utilizing the fact that the Spider-Man comic books have such a wide array of awesome, eccentric villain characters. And it uses all of them, one right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. Not all of
them, but a lot of them.
Right, yeah. There's probably too many.
A good selection,
to even include in one ride.
Oh, for sure.
But they choose so many to put in the attraction, and they're all so different, and they have their different powers, and it just allows for so many different practical effects, like when they throw a fireball and the wall catches on fire, someone sprays you with water and you get wet. Electro puts the power thing into your car and shakes you. It's such a clever way to use all those practical effects. I love it so much.
I love that too. Yeah.
Really
puts
cool.
you in the story.
Love it.
My number two, I guess, can't be your number two.
I
So
don't think
I'm
so.
just gonna go with it. My number two is Hagrid's.
Yeah. I didn't get to do this. I'm jealous. I'm sad. I will get to do it eventually. I've only seen little snippets of it. Tell me why you loved it so much.
I loved it because it was so different. It's like a legit awesome roller coaster,
Hmm.
and then some things happen that you aren't expecting, and that makes it kind of do something different. I don't want to give anything away.
Hmm.
So, in addition to that, I feel like this is one of my least favorite queues actually, but
Really?
yeah,
I
which is
think it's
unfortunate because it has the longest wait bar none every time we've gone, which is why Jake and I didn't get to do it together and why I've only gotten to do it once.
right.
It could be higher on my list if we were able to do it more than once, but since it kind of takes me more than one time to really process something.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I like that it's different. I like that there are surprises. I like that there were like animatronics and things going on in the ride itself. You almost never get that with a roller coaster because you're moving so fast.
True.
But they do some cool stuff where they essentially slow you down or stop you to see some stuff, and it's very cool.
Cool. I love that. I like that Universal plays with the format of a roller coaster
Yeah.
and what a roller coaster can be. I think that's so fun. I believe the queue for Hagrid's is left over from when this was a ride called Dragon Challenge. Um,
Dueling Dragons.
yes, originally Dueling Dragons. Um, I think that's the only part they reutilized
It
was that
they're
like queue.
you're like outside in a I mean, it's better than a switchback because you're kind of like winding along some rocks and stuff. And then you're in like when I say like an observatory, and I'm sure this is part of the Harry Potter world, but it's much more of a boring
Mm.
building than all of the other Harry Potter rides.
Yeah. We were spoiled by some incredible
Yes.
experiences for Harry Potter queues. But it's cool to hear that the ride, and also, how do you feel about the ride vehicle, the like motorcycle sidecar sitch?
I think that I liked it. But again, it was so much to process in
Yeah.
like 2 minutes that like I'm still a little. What I knew when I got off of it was I loved it, but I will have a hard time really being detailed about what I loved about it because I'm only getting to do it once.
Yeah, fair enough. Totally fair. My number two, since I did not get to experience Hagrid's this time around, is actually the Incredible Hulk coaster, which I know did not
Oh
make your
no! Oh
list.
my gosh!
But
I
I
also think
loved the Hulk.
I also think that as a shorter person,
Yeah.
that I experience these roller coasters with the shoulder restraint in a
Hmm.
different way than somebody that is taller because we have the same ex- different experience on rock and roller coaster
You were
where
telling
for
me.
me my head's banging around in the thing and for you your head's above the thing
Right.
and not banging but that was the same with the whole because I feel like my head's banging around within these shoulder constraints.
Yeah.
Go on about why you love it as a tall person.
Yeah, when the ride was over, you were like, "Oh my gosh, I think I have a concussion,"
Yeah,
basically,
yeah, I
because
need
you got
Advil.
banged around
You
so
guys
much.
should have a vending machine with Advil right at the end of it.
I felt so bad.
But unfortunately, that's how I feel on Rock and Roller Coaster now too. So
Right. Yeah. I do. I wish they would do something about that to make that more enjoyable for people who have that, like, the problem with, like, their head banging around in the restraint, because there cannot be a comfortable way to enjoy the ride while that is going on.
yeah, it's weird because I don't. There have been rides with shoulder restraints where I haven't felt that. So I thought that it would be just a smoother ride system,
Hmm.
but now you say that it's been redone recently, which makes me question everything.
It might just be the design of the restraint itself,
Maybe,
because they're different depending on the attractions,
maybe.
and probably some are worse than others. I don't know. I thankfully did not have that experience of the banging around, and I think you
Michael
nailed
liked it
it with
also.
like
Another tall
the height
person.
difference,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's just a lot that I loved about it. I loved how exhilarating the layout was. I thought there were some really unique elements. I love that it's over the water.
Yeah.
You get some really cool views of Islands of Adventure on that ride, which I think is fantastic. And also, I loved there's score that goes into this. There's music that I really enjoyed. The queue is semi outdoors, which I don't love, but at least it's covered.
Yeah, it's gotten better. It's better than it was in the early 2000s,
Really?
the queue. Yeah, but it's still not great.
It's still not great. I'm glad it's in the shade at the very least. But yeah, there's a lot I enjoyed about it, and I would be
The
happy
launch
to do
is
it
really
again.
nice.
The launch is so exhilarating.
Yeah.
It makes you, it's one of those rides that makes you say, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
You know? And I like that.
I really do wish I didn't have the banging around experience that I have, because there is a lot I like about it. Yeah, it is an unfortunate.
It's hard. It must be hard to overlook.
Yeah. I've got a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, hopefully they can address that at some point in the future.
Well, I think that they did.
In our number one?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
I wasn't sure that this was going to be your number one.
And it's still so mind-blowing to me that I'm like, but look, this is how they did it. Our number one is Velocicoaster.
Woo!
And they made a roller coaster legit where it goes upside down. It does all the things, all of the crazy, insane things with just a lap bar. So
it's crazy.
I can't complain about my head banging around, but I can, I guess, I was so like, wait.
We're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, you're missing something because I'm gonna fall out.
There's one moment in that ride where they roll you over the water, and you're truly just hanging by your lap bar, and we literally thought we were at death's door.
Yeah.
We got off of it and we were like, oh, that was death defying.
Oh my gosh.
They are able to create the sensation of danger so incredibly well on that ride, and the fact that you are in just a lap bar just makes it feel so much more dangerous. Somehow.
Yeah. I can't even believe.
I know
what I mean? But there's no way I'm complaining, because it was an amazing ride. It's smooth, and they did address the issue of people's head banging around. So
yeah, no head banging around.
And really, they didn't have to. I mean, like, if ever there was a story that lent itself to a shoulder restraint, it's the whole Jurassic World story.
Right.
Because, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be crazy. It's like you're putting on your, dinosaur gear. It would make sense to me to have a shoulder restraint.
And they go through this whole thing in the pre-show that's like the ride has these electric fields that keep the dinosaurs away. So they really could justify basically any safety system that they wanted.
Right.
But the fact that they chose to do it the way that they did, I mean, not only is the track layout so crazy, so there's so many elements back to back that are so exhilarating, but also the story of the ride is so fun that you're in this like chase and you're trying to, I guess, evade these velociraptors. It's very you definitely feel like you've cheated death by the time you get off of the ride.
But also, great story, great cue. You know what I mean? Like, which, again, it's hard to do a story with a roller coaster.
Yes.
But if you're paying attention to what they're saying when you're in the queue and you're watching the videos as you go along, you get why you're there. You get, I mean, obviously, it's like, oh, yeah, we've got these velociraptors, but they're behind electrical fences. What could go wrong? What could go wrong. You know what I mean?
You've seen the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So there's a story. It's not just like, I don't know,
a roller coaster with some velociraptors sprinkled in.
Yeah.
They're able to build it up to be more than that.
Yes.
Which is very rewarding for you by the time that you go through the whole thing.
Yeah. And when we got off of it the first time, I can see why you wouldn't think this would be my number one, because I was like, I do this with movies or books that have like a twist at the end too, where it takes me like a day to like be like, that was amazing. You know what I mean? In the moment, I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then later I'm like still thinking about it and I'm like, that was really cool.
Yeah, I kept thinking about it as well when we were done writing it, and then throughout the next however many days, I just kept coming back to what a great experience that this was. I was so glad we got the chance to
Yeah.
do it.
You were probably so annoyed with me right after because I kept being like, what? Well, like,
Oh no.
what? Like, I just,
I wasn't annoyed with you. I think we really all together were like, what the heck just happened?
yeah.
Like a state
lap
of
bar.
complete
I
disbelief.
said lap bar probably 50 times that day.
We kept looking at like the posters of the t-shirts being like, oh, you can see it in there that it's just a lap bar.
Yeah. And then like I was telling my teenager, then I like called and told my mom about the riot, and I'm like, lap bar. Like, you're held upside down, lap bar.
It is so crazy.
Yeah, it's not something I ever thought could happen.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be safe. It didn't feel safe.
Yeah, no, literally. We were like, how do people not fall out of this ride all the time?
I mean, you have to be so sure that you're in there good.
Yeah. I did feel locked in to the ride. Like,
yeah,
fine.
At the end, I was like, this thing is really pressing down on my thighs, like in an uncomfortable way. But like, I'm glad.
Oh yeah, if it was any looser, I don't think I would have been able to. I would have had a heart attack.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, because it was wild and different and all of these things, it made her my number one.
Yes, and worth the wait. We did have to wait a while for this ride.
Yeah.
But by the time we got off of it, we all agreed that it was 100% worth the wait.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to start talking about Epic Universe?
To the future. Oh my gosh.
All right. So do you have a list?
I've got a little list.
All right. We're just going to jump around here because we really can't rank. I don't feel like.
No.
Like, did you rank? I did,
but it's loose.
Yeah, right. We can't know. We haven't even seen them.
We're just kind of talking about what we're most excited about.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about before we even get to the list of attractions of it all is the concept. I think is really cool to have. First of all, you arrive, the hub is called Celestial Park. Mm-hmm. And it's like kind of like a whimsical space and stars theme, which sounds beautiful and amazing.
Mm-hmm. Hard to imagine, to be honest.
A little hard to imagine. And then you've got portals to all of these different universes that you travel through to get to the different lands. And I think that's fun.
Yeah, it's a very inventive way to have a bunch of themes that have nothing to do with each other tied together, because that's always the problem, right? When we're talking about the ways in which like Hollywood Studios has changed, it doesn't have a theme anymore. This is the issue.
Yeah,
you've got Toy Story next to Star Wars, but no, like the only reason that they're in the same park is because they're both movies. Yeah. I don't know about that.
There's no real feel of consistency. There's no real feel of cohesion.
Yeah.
Overall,
even
thematic
what they
integrity.
tried with the different like parts of Epcot that they renamed doesn't make sense to me.
Nope. So and the boundaries are so loose.
Yes.
There that it feels like it doesn't even matter.
No, I know. It's crazy. So yeah. So this. If it works out, we haven't seen it yet, but if it really feels like you're going through a portal to get into a different land, like I like that. That was very impressive. And
sight lines is something I'll be interested in. Can you see the universes from one another?
I know.
How do they manage that?
Yeah.
Will be very interesting to see.
We'll see, because if not, it's not going to be good. It's just going to be like, oh, that was a good idea, but that you did not execute it.
Yeah, I didn't go through a portal. I went through a sidewalk to get here, and I can see Mario Land from here.
Yeah, look, there's Mario. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So that will be the thematic test.
Yes, we'll see. They'll need some big walls.
Yeah, I wonder how they'll attempt to accomplish that.
Or how they did. They already did it. We just don't know yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there anything, or did you want to?
Yeah, I can say a couple things I'm excited for.
Well, is there anything in the hub that you're particularly excited for?
Oh, yes. Well, of course I'm excited for Starfall Racers.
Yeah, Stardust Racers,
Stardust Racers. Thank you. I typed it wrong. Yes.
No, I could be wrong. Maybe my computer corrected it to a real word.
Let me look it up.
But regardless, this is a dueling multi-launch coaster similar to Velocicoaster. That's all that they've said.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, it is
you got
called.
me.
It's yes. Yeah, that does sound great. I love a dueling coaster. I
Well,
think that
I
sounds so
love
cool.
Velocicoaster and multi-launch. That's where you got me.
Heck
Dueling.
yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's cool. So it is called Stardust Racers. It's just the list that I'm looking at said it wrong. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not taking all the blame. No, I'm
Oh,
just
good.
kidding.
Oh, that's fine.
I like the idea of a dueling coaster in this case specifically because Universal has a history with dueling dragons.
But did
And
it ever really work?
well, it did. It just led to incidents that caused them to suspend the dueling element of it.
I don't really care. I don't really like it. Go on. Maybe I'll be convinced.
So this is the most spoiler thing that I've had for Epic Universe is this attraction.
Okay.
And I won't spoil it all for you, but the concept is that you've got two ride vehicles on dueling tracks that start at the same time and interweave through a series of elements.
Okay.
And at the end, you see which of you won the race.
Okay.
Which I think is a very fun approach to a dueling roller coaster.
Is it going to work? Are they going to start them at the same time every time? So if one's not working, then the other's not going to work.
I believe that's the case, yes. And I also believe that the way that they're accomplishing it without, oh my gosh, the layout looks so crazy. Something that they're doing to avoid the problems that they had with Dueling Dragons is that in the modern era of Universal hypercoasters like this, big coasters, they do not allow you to have anything on your person at all. There's metal detectors, there's lockers. They are not going to have the problems that they had with Dueling Dragons.
What were the problems?
That people had things in their pockets that would fall out and it would cause problems.
Okay.
So that was their major issue, and it led to the incidents that caused them to suspend the dueling aspect of it. They're not going to have those problems with this because the way they do roller coasters has really changed in terms of like security. So I don't think they'll have the same problems, and the track layout is really, there's some newly patented intertwining elements that are going into this that look really incredible. I don't think pictures even really do it justice compared to the video clips that I saw.
Yeah.
So
it might have gone through a name change, by the way.
Really?
Well, it's possible. I'm seeing what you said.
Starfall. Oh, and now it's called Stardust. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was ever technically called that, but if this isn't where you saw it, then that means it's been.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Multiple sources have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think it's one of the most anticipated roller coasters coming into Epic Universe, and I'll be excited to see how it performs.
Yeah, I'm excited for it in all of the ways except for the dueling part. I don't care. You've got no control over it, so why do you care if you're racing? To me, that doesn't intrigue me. It makes me nervous not because of the issues they've had in the past, because of the feeling like the pressure to start them both at the same time, and that holding up the line sometimes. You know what I mean? If somebody throws up in one, that means they're both out of commission. Where like on Guardians, let's say, if somebody throws up, they take that one out of commission, but the other three that are on different parts of the roller coaster keep going.
Yeah.
Which means the line doesn't completely stop.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a plan to address that operationally.
Hopefully they do, and it'll be fine. But yeah, that's the only part that makes me nervous about it. Other than that, I love multi-launch. You're right. It looks like it's laid out really cool. I think from what I can understand, it's going to look really cool at night.
Yeah, I bet.
With lights or something.
The design of the ride cars is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
They've got like a fun color scheme. I like the celestial theme of it all.
Yeah.
I think that's a really whimsical theme for a theme park land.
Yeah. And it's a good first vibe when you walk in there.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on.
Yep.
Let's see. I on my list I also have the Untrainable Dragon stage show.
Oh, cool.
I don't know much about it, but there have been like leaked pictures and videos that I have caught glimpses of
Okay.
the Toothless the dragon. So the puppet or person in a costume, I can't tell from I've barely seen anything of you.
Okay, I haven't seen anything.
Oh, okay. If that is part of this show, then I think that that's going to be a pretty cool show.
All right. I know they've got, I don't know if it's Singapore or whatever, whichever one of their other parks. I know they've got a show where there's like a flying toothless.
Yes.
Like a toothless.
And we're going to be getting that also.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's part of the show.
Yeah, I don't know if that's part of this show
This
either.
is a stage show.
Right. And in the other Universal park in the East that has the toothless that flies above the audience in the show, I think that is such a show-stopping
Maybe it is
situation. Yeah, I think it might be. I don't know for sure, but I think that if that does come to I think that is part of this, and if that is part of this, I'm excited to see it because that sounds like such a cool element.
From what I can understand, they've really outdone themselves with the tech with this dragon, so I'm excited for it.
That is so exciting.
It's supposed to be very realistic looking.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a showstopper.
Yeah. Oh wow. Anyway, all right. So what do you have next?
All right.
Or do you want to pick something from your list? I guess I should say.
No, I can pick something from How to Train Your Dragon as well.
Okay.
There's something in here called Fire Drill that's going to be a boat attraction that's like interactive in some way, where you're a Viking and you're on like a Viking ship in a boat and you're like participating in some type of drill, and there's like interactive elements that make you feel like you're participating. I don't know if that's rowing. I don't really know the details because, like we said, we didn't observe any spoiler-like content for this.
Yeah.
But just the idea of a boat ride that's more than just either a raft ride or like a ride-along boat ride like Pirates of the Caribbean, but some type of like interactive new addition to the boat ride. It's exciting.
Yeah. Do you happen to know if that's like a kid ride?
I don't think it's specifically for children, but honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
How to Train Your Dragon to me is
gonna be more towards little kids.
Yeah, gonna be more toward little kids. Apparently, they call this a splash battle ride.
So I've got one, like that means anything.
I know.
I've got one more from the How to Train Your Dragon area, and that's the Hiccups Wing Gliders.
Oh, yes.
And this is called a family, or it's described as a family multi-launch coaster.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I like a family coaster. I think some of them are very fun.
And if it's got some launches, then it's not going to be like Gadgets Go Coaster.
No, more in the vein of like a Slinky Dog.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit more than that.
Which would be great.
Yeah.
That sounds very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So what portal are we portaling to next?
Ooh, shall we portal to Super Mario?
Sure.
Let's go.
So here's the thing about Super Mario, just going to throw this out there.
Super Nintendo World.
Super Nintendo.
I guess, yeah.
I have gone to the one in California.
Oh, yeah.
So I got kind of a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
I loved it. Very, very immersive. It was honestly smaller than I expected the land.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but this one is probably going to be bigger because
more attractions.
It already has more attractions already. Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we ate at the place that you're supposed to eat there.
Yeah. Toad Cafe.
Yes,
I think.
that's it. That's it.
How
we
was
bought
it?
The very, very expensive mushroom soup.
Oh.
Because it comes in a bowl that you get to keep. But like we were all here from Florida to California. I'm like, I was like, can I buy it without the bowl? And they're like, no. I was like, okay, where can I go to donate this? Because I'm not flying it home.
They got you trapped.
Yeah. But it was good and very themed. You're sitting in it's like a quick serve, but you've got to make a reservation because it's so popular. And then you get tables, and there's like there are screens,
Hmm.
so it's kind of it a little bit is yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say it's a little bit like Trader Sam's, and that like at one point there's like the weather changes, but you're
Yeah,
inside. It's very cool.
that is really cool.
And then the Mario Kart ride in Universal Studios Hollywood
Yeah,
was very, very impressive.
I can't wait to experience
And
that.
I'm thinking this is a copy.
I think so.
Yeah.
I love the idea of augmented reality coming into the theme park game with the utilization of items as part of the experience. I think that's really fun. I feel like this is like Universal advanced the dark ride with what they did with Spider-Man. I feel like this is a really cool advancement of dark ride technology
Yeah,
as well.
the Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's like a Men in Black, but better because you're moving and you're shooting,
You are so
or you're
speaking my
playing the game.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard part for me was you're wearing this like it's not just goggles, it's like a whole like a VR thing. And it made me feel like I was missing a lot of the practical effects, but maybe we'll get to go on it a bunch and we'll be able to ride it without actually wearing the goggles at some point to see
Ooh.
what's going on, because it's definitely a combination of what's going on VR
Mm-hmm.
and then practical things that are around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's such a cool concept.
Totally. And then we've got something brand new
Yes,
to this world
that's
as
what I'm
well.
most excited about.
The mine car.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Mine Cart Madness.
Cool.
Because they're using tech that makes it look like it's a roller coaster. They're using tech that makes it look like you're jumping over holes in the track.
Amazing.
That's so exciting.
What a fun idea.
And then I've got to say, the way that they explained Yoshi's Adventure makes it sound like the People Mover,
Yeah,
but we'll see. If it is, then I'll be psyched.
me too.
Yeah.
And People Mover in the aesthetic of Super Nintendo
Yeah.
sounds very fun.
Yeah.
Very, very fun. Okay, shall we move on to a different portal?
Sure.
Let's walk through the Harry Potter portal here. It's called Ministry of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the deal. I don't know a lot about Harry Potter, and I don't know a lot about the Ministry of Magic as a thing, but this ride seems very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
The Battle of the Ministry of Magic, yeah.
Yeah, from what I've read, it's going to be in the same lane as like Spider-Man, Transformers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a progression of that technology, and that is very interesting to me in a Harry Potter kind of context.
Yeah, we without being super Harry Potter fans have loved every Harry Potter ride we've been on. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that this one's going to be there also. Do you happen to know if the train's coming to Epic? I think no, right?
Oh, I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think the train is going to offer transportation.
I am a little worried about transportation from the other two Universal parks to Epic, but we will get there when we get there.
I've heard there's going to be a shuttle bus that like takes you around.
Yeah,
but I think that's it.
Yeah.
Which is, as we've come to learn with Disney parks, specifically with Animal Kingdom, we like having more than one option for transportation.
Right, and so does everybody else. It's like I think that's part of the reason Animal Kingdom doesn't do as well, is it's not easily accessible.
Agreed.
You cannot as easily be like, oh, we're going to do this and Animal Kingdom, because I mean it's just easy peasy to get from one to another, or it's enjoyable. Like we're going to Hollywood Studios later today. If we want to go to Epcot, easy, fun, relaxing, beautiful. Those are all the ways I would describe taking the Skyliner to over to Epcot.
Yes, or the boat.
Yeah, or the boat. So, but like if we wanted to go to Animal Kingdom, we're like, oh, do we want to take the bus? We want to trek all the way back out to our car and repark it to another spot that's going to be at the back of the parking lot, and then trek all the way in. It's too much of an issue.
Right.
So I hope that they figure something out pretty quick.
Yeah, I do. That's one of the things before the park even opens, that I hope they expand upon.
Yeah.
Is like the transportation.
I do hear we're going to get some more butterbeer treats in this new Harry Potter land.
Cool.
Yeah, I cannot remember specifics, but you know how I'm butterbeer obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Jake loves butterbeer.
I do.
We have tried a few of the butterbeer treats that they've got in the lands that already exist. Like, what was one of them? It was like a pot de creme or something. Were you with me when I
Oh,
tried that?
I don't think so, but you
Maybe
told me
not.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something else. I can't
They
even
have ice
remember.
cream, butterbeer ice
Yeah,
cream.
right.
There's a bunch of different little things.
Yeah, they've got a few new things, which is exciting, and I'll be excited to have another park I can get butterbeer at. But I think that that's it as far as what I'm excited about at the new Harry Potter area. Was
Yeah.
there something else for you, or no?
Nope, it's only gonna have that one ride.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe there must be some type of stage show, or I mean, they haven't said anything.
Food for sure.
Or yeah, food. Got to be shopping.
Maybe they just intend to add.
Expand.
Yeah,
I would believe it 100%.
but it's surprising to me that they even chose to do this realm of Harry Potter because it has to do with the newer movies that did not do well.
It is a little surprising.
Interesting that they would not just continue in the
Classic Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not do this altogether.
Yeah,
and just put that one ride in one of the parks that already on one of the lands that already exist.
Harry Potter is such a big smash hit for them
I know.
that I get the appeal and I get wanting to put it in the new park. But at the same time, what they've chosen is a little bit of a head scratcher where I feel like maybe the popularity of the ride, if it's like a smash success, might outlast the popularity of the IP on which it's based. Like Fantastic
Well, and we've
Beasts.
certainly seen that happen before.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, could be. All right, the last land that we're going to talk about,
And the one I'm most excited about.
me too, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
Is Dark Universe.
Mm-hmm.
This is, first of all, such a cool choice to take advantage of Universal's legacy characters.
Yeah.
The Universal monsters. And I would say that this is going to be a fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's almost got like Beastly Kingdom energy. If you guys remember our discussion of the history of Animal Kingdom, where they originally intended to have a little bit more of a dark, sinister side of the mythological Animal Kingdom there. This has foreboding vibes, scary, medieval, Victorian energy, and a lot of interactive elements with like a windmill that catches on fire and lightning strikes and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just atmospheric in the land. That's not even on the rides. So that's absolutely thrilling. And we've got 2 rides coming here. The first is Curse of the Werewolf, which the article post that I'm reading says that this is going to be like less intense, like maybe like a Cobra's Curse from Busch Gardens.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. I read that also. I'm not wildly impressed with Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that they'd even do a family spinning coaster in such a dark themed area.
Yeah.
But okay.
Maybe there's some interactive elements within the coaster that are really going to sell this. Otherwise, it feels like maybe this is for capacity purposes to eat people.
I hate to think they would even think that.
Yeah, me too.
Because they're spending all this money on a coaster and spinning. They must think it's going to be good. So maybe it will be. Maybe we just don't. I really don't like the comparison to Cobra's Curse. I hope that that's inaccurate.
Yeah, I do too. And obviously these are just first impressions. You know, I have seen nothing about this.
I will say, before we got Guardians, there was a lot of speculation of what that was going to be because of the spinning element. And everything I heard was wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, people made it sound like, or articles, even the way that Disney described it, made it sound like it was going to be crazy spinning and people would get sick and stuff like that. And then that's not at all how I would describe Guardians.
Right.
Because of the very purposeful spinning that it does to make you see things.
Right.
So hopefully, but Cobra's Curse does just spin at abandon. It sometimes it spins a lot, sometimes it spins a little, depending on the weight distribution in your vehicle, right?
Right.
And I'm hoping it's not like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that too. I'm hoping it's more of a controlled spin. I'm hoping it's more story based, but we shall see.
We shall see.
I think the thing that I am by far most excited about in
Me
this whole
too.
park, though, is this next one, though.
Yeah.
Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein Experiment, the video of the animatronics that
Yeah.
are going to be in this ride completely blew me away.
Yeah.
They look like actors, they look like people.
Yeah.
They don't look robotic, or it's completely a new generation of what a roller coaster can be, of what an animatronic can be. And the two coming together with this particular theme
Mhm.
sounds like it could be something so exhilarating. That Velocicoaster feeling, but with more story, more animatronics, more,
Yeah.
dynamic elements. That to
Well,
me
and this one's gonna have
sounds,
the arm system.
yeah, like technologically, I'm just so fascinated by what that translates to.
Did you see? Are you saying it's going to be like a Velocicoaster style roller coaster?
I
Because
don't think it's going to be that.
this says it's similar to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
I don't think it's going to be as. I don't think it's going to be as roller coastery as Velocicoaster.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I would think, from what I've seen of it, that it might almost be a little bit more like Escape from Gringotts.
I know. It sounds like that.
Right?
Yeah.
How like it is a roller coaster, but it's also got these dark ride elements to it. But I think it will be thrilling. I think it will be more thrilling than Harry Potter, from what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scare factor in the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Forest is kind of cheesy.
Yes.
And I feel like this looks like it's going to be legitimately scary.
Yeah, things are jumping out at you, and
yeah,
the monsters are coming for you.
Yeah.
All the concept art I've seen of this and the animatronic footage that Universal released ahead of this makes me think that this might be one of my new favorite rides when I eventually get the chance to go
14
on it.
animatronics.
That is just an absolutely absurd number for
because they're going to be so
coaster.
high tech. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And their fluidity.
Oh, they're so scary.
Oh, I think I'm gonna delight in this 100%. As someone who loves the Universal monsters and loves Universal's history with the monsters, I'm just so thrilled for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is very exciting. Yep, that's what I'm most excited for too, but also scared. But in a good way, not in a I'm nervous that they're gonna do a bad job. Which is how I feel about some stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
I also have heard that this is not going to be very screen reliant.
Yeah,
which
me too.
I am absolutely thrilled
all there for. Yeah.
Totally. Because Velocicoaster did not really take advantage of screens. Not that I keep saying Velocicoaster. I don't think that this is going to be that kind of ride necessarily.
Right.
But just in terms of what is Universal's most impressive thing so far, Hagrid's and Velocicoaster are kind of at the top of the list right now.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them are particularly screen reliant.
True.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to take it even a step further with these crazy animatronics.
Yes.
So,
very, very exciting.
So exciting. We cannot wait to dive into the worlds of Epic Universe, and we're so excited to hear what you guys think once the park opens up and we've all had the chance to experience this a few times. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for listening along or watching along if you're on the visual version. And if you would like to follow our adventures on social media, we would love to have you there as well. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Neverland Navco.
Yeah, we also have an Etsy shop. It's called Neverland Navigation on Etsy, where we do custom shirts, dish towels, hoodies. Just send us a message telling us what you're thinking you would want on a t-shirt or a dish towel, and I will give you some pictures to look at. We'll get there,
All right. Yeah, I love a good collaboration.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And until we have our guts screamed out on Monsters Unchained, we'll see you on our next adventure. Goodbye.